This is Wrap the News, and it is very dire and incumbent that you wear a mask. Not just any mask, but a fine dust mask to block the incoming system that is coming in. And it is incumbent upon you that you stay in your houses as much as possible and have an air purifier somewhere running in every room if possible, because that is what we are up against. We are up against fine dust. The dust that's coming down from this planet is thinner than smoke, they say. You cannot see it. You can't see it until it's right up on you. And it gets deep inside your lungs. And so I'm going to show you with a series of videos that everything they're telling you to do with the coronavirus, they're telling you to do with the fine dust particles that's coming down from this planetary system. And however these fine dust particles attack you, it's the same way coronavirus is attacking you, because they are the same thing. If you can heed the message today, you can save you and your family's life. Go inside your house, and I am telling you this to save your life, and try to stay in as much as possible until, like God said in Isaiah, the indignation passes over.
Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain, and shall no more cover her slain, and shall no more cover her slain. The Lord will plague you with diseases until he has destroyed you from the land you are entering to possess. The Lord will strike you with wasting disease, with fever and inflammation, with scorching heat and drought, with blight and mildew, which will plague you until you perish. The Lord will turn the rain of your country into dust and powder. It will come down from the skies until you are destroyed. Dust and powder, dust and powder, dust and powder. It will come down from the skies until you are destroyed.
Every day, dust from our solar system, our Milky Way galaxy, and comets falls onto Earth. These dust particles are similar in their quantity to that of smoke, but are quite a bit smaller.
In a remarkable discovery, scientists have come across some dust particles that are believed to have originated outside our solar system. The report was recently published in the Science Journal.
There's so much cosmic dust swirling around that nearly 60 tons of the stuff fall on Earth every single day. We can find bits of cosmic dust everywhere. On city rooftops, in Antarctica, and on the cliffs of Dover.
The area between Sun and Earth is going to become a little bit more populated. It's going to be a little bit more dusty. Now, we actually get quite a lot of dust on Earth to begin with. As a matter of fact, something like 40,000 tons of material on Earth every year comes from passing through various dust clouds and various dust particles. Not just from asteroids, but just actual dust, tiny particles of dust that are essentially everywhere in space, because, you know, space is not actually that empty after all. But in a few millennia, or actually anywhere between next 20 to 50,000 years, we might actually pass through something a little bit more dense than that. As a matter of fact, it might be so dense that, or several thousand times denser than what we currently have, that it might completely blot out the sun, or make the sun a lot more dim in the sky. We might not be able to see it that well anymore.
The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and the terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, dust and powder. It will come down from the skies until you are destroyed.
Dr. Christopher Carlston, Head of Respiratory Medicine at the University of British Columbia and Director of the Air Pollution Lab, who's joining us on Skype. Firstly, can you tell us what fine dust does to the human body and why it's considered so harmful?
Right. Thanks, Mark. I feel for your viewers. I was watching and I really see the problem very graphically. The fine particles are those that are less than 2.5 micron. So they're not visible, each particle, to the naked eye, but of course you can see on your screens when the particles are all together in a large air mass. You can see the group together, but because they're so small, they get deep into the lung, and they can even get into the bloodstream and cause inflammation. That's why these particles are dangerous not only for the lungs but also for the bloodstream and even the heart. So heart and lung disease, as well as other disease, have all been associated with these particles. The key thing is that most of the effects, thankfully, are long-term. And so while I know your viewers have been suffering for days now, we can hope that it will pass, and I'm sure it will pass, and we can get through this episode.
Okay, and yes, most of us would be, but like you say, during periods like this, is that your advice then? We should stay inside whenever possible, keep the windows shut, have an air purifier going, and if we do go outside for prolonged periods, aside from wearing a face mask, something that's enough to protect you from the finest particles, what are the other best ways to protect yourself?
The other thing when you're outdoors, if you really need to be there, and I understand we do need to be outside for practical purposes, is to minimize the intensity of activity. So the respiratory rate, which is related to how fast you breathe and how deeply you breathe, is a huge factor in terms of how much air pollution gets deep into the lungs. So exercising in these conditions is really not advised.
So these bastards knew that the dust cloud from this planetary system was coming down and that it was going to kill people, and that dust cloud started in China. All these people was dropping dead. People were dropping dead all over the world from sepsis before, because only a small amount of dust was going down, so it only got particular people. But now that we are engulfed in this thing and this planet is closer, then everybody is breathing in, and it'll get anybody at any time, anywhere. So the more you stay from outside, the more you stay inside, and the more you just relax and take it easy, the better it would be for you. You breathe in deeply, you running and exercising, you could drop dead from that any moment, because that dust is going to get deep in your lungs and you cannot see it.
The Chinese officials said reducing fine dust requires a long-term effort. Both sides agreed to host sessions with fine dust experts in the future meetings, share air quality forecast technology, and do joint research and environmental measures.
South Korea's Environment Ministry has released a guideline informing the public of 7 protective measures against fine dust.
And so I want you to take a look at this chart and then compare it to coronavirus, or what they telling you to do. Number 1, they said avoid outdoor activities when possible. 2, wear a mask when heading outdoors. 3, avoid heavy populated areas when outdoor. We reducing the 500 people or more is going to be a crime. Number 4, wash thoroughly after returning from outdoors. 5, drink water and eat lots of vegetables and fruits high in vitamin C. 6, manage indoor air quality through cleaning and ventilation. 7, avoid activities that can create more pollution. All things they're telling you to do with coronavirus, because all it is dust, and they don't want to tell you that, because then they would have to explain where the dust is coming from.
Studies show that a large amount of air pollution and yellow dust do indeed flow in from China. In your view, how much of South Korea's fine dust originates from China?
So, I mean, to be honest, we don't know for sure, but there's been a number of investigations and some research done, and I think they all center around between 34 and 50% of the fine dust pollution comes from China. So I think it would be safe to say that almost half of the pollution is due to China.
Now, ain't China the epicenter of the garbage? Didn't it start in China? America, a long time ago, they think we forget. They was complaining that bad air quality was coming in to America from China, and every other nation is claiming that it's coming in from China. And I don't know where this pollution from space goes directly, but obviously it must start in China somewhere, you know. And then the next big place to me is California in America. I don't know. It just seems that way. And just like I said, we have to be smart right now and take care of our lungs, take care of our life and our family. And you have to heed this message, man, because just like I said, anybody who come into this channel is blessed. You are blessed to hear the information because it's 100% the truth from the Spirit of the Lord. And I will never lead you astray because God won't lead me astray. This is Wrap the News.
The Lord will turn the rain of your country into dust and powder. It will come down from the skies until you are destroyed. Ye that dwell in dust, for thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. Until the indignation be overpast. Until the indignation be overpast.